summer, a time of warmth, sun-drenched moments, longer days, vibrant sunsets. A time of rest for some, but for me, it was a summer of creating. I went into the summer with an idea that I would create a collection of work inspired by nostalgia. Inspired by the most warm parts of summer. You know, the summer memories, the parts that warm you up on the inside. Now, the first part of creating a collection, at least for me, is the brainstorming part, and I think this is actually perhaps the most fun because it's the dreamland part. It's the part where you get to dream the biggest, and you know that whatever you dream probably won't end up exactly the way that you draw it out or write it down, but that's kind of like the fun part because that means that you're free to do or write down whatever you want. This is the dreaming phase. This is not the execution phase. This is the phase where you can write it all down and then kind of see where it goes. This phase begins with the inspiration. Thinking through memories, looking through photos, and then kind of drawing it out and seeing what goes with the theme that you're thinking. What sizes of the pieces would go best together, how would it come together and look good as a whole collection and individually. I sort of went rogue and decided to do two mediums. Usually a collection when I create it is all one medium, for example, my watercolor bows, or the first collection which was part of the inspiration for this one, which was my acrylic hydrangea paintings. But on this one, I decided to do both. I was inspired to challenge myself to work on a larger scale than I had ever done before. And then I also wanted to do some more illustrative loose watercolor paintings. So I decided to do both. So I worked on creating a collection that would be well-rounded in incorporating both acrylic and watercolor painting, making sure all the while to keep in mind the theme and what was really the driving force and inspiration behind the whole collection. From there, it was just painting time.
Life is a winding road, no telling where it goes. Driving through days and nights, won't stop for traffic lights. And I really wanna know, if I will ever figure out where the road goes. Even if I'm falling down, I will keep on searching for my highs.
I spend a lot of time thinking about creativity and also modernization and how sometimes the two do not coincide. I realized about halfway through the project that the mood board that I had in my head would be really great if I put it on the wall. So I created a little vision board in kind of an older style. I wanted to create a vision board in a sort of nostalgic style. You know, like the kind that you see in the movies where there's a piece of fabric on the board and it's something tangible, something you can actually see as you're creating. Don't get me wrong, I love a good Pinterest scroll, I love a good mood board on there, but sometimes just having it right there at your fingertips, right there in your periphery as you're creating, is just something that can't be matched. As I was creating this vision board, it really inspired me, and it got me to thinking about the mood boards that I create for each season or for each project, and how it might be kind of fun to do sort of like a scrapbook style journal or a scrapbook style mood board each month or each collection or whenever I'm creating them, rather than just doing it digitally. Or maybe I'll do both, but it just kind of got me thinking.
Even if the sky is falling down, even if the sky is falling down, yeah. The sky is falling down. I'm an expert at overthinking things that I shouldn't.
See La Vie. These are some of my favorite paintings that I've ever made, especially this one. That one's just like my crowning glory at the moment, but I wanted to tell you a little bit about each one and to share just a little bit about how the collection came together. So I had an idea, well, as all things go, you kind of, at least for me, I'm a little bit more, I would say, like overly ambitious or overly excited about kind of my ideas and everything else. So my original collection was quite a bit larger. So I still have a lot of ideas up in my mind. So perhaps next summer you can expect to see an extension of this collection. But my original idea was inspired, of course, by hydrangeas. 2 years ago, I did a collection called La Vie Jolie, and it was 30 hydrangea paintings. They were just small. It was my first little dip into the realm of hydrangea painting, and I fell in love with it then and have been just enjoying the journey of painting hydrangeas ever since. And so this collection was inspired by the La Vie part of that, and so I thought See La Vie would incorporate just like a very summery and kind of nostalgic of a New England and East Coast summer, and so that was the inspiration behind this collection. So this piece here was the first piece that I created. I was really inspired by the light of summer and, well, really the feeling of whenever you were a kid, did you just kind of like lay in the sun puddles that the sun would create as it poured through the window? I don't know why that is so like childhood nostalgic to me. And so that was kind of the inspiration, as well as, of course, hydrangeas. And so I wanted to create that kind of feeling. I wanted it to be really warm and inviting and just very like sunny and warm is kind of the main vibe of that. And so that was the inspiration behind this piece, and so I called it What the Sunlight Carries. That's the title. And I kind of wanted it to feel like the sunlight holds your childhood memories. I just really love how it turned out. Let me move this a little bit. There, you can perhaps see it a little bit better. The shadow in particular was quite challenging for me, but I'm really proud of how it turned out. And the vase in particular is something I'm really pleased with. So that one is What the Sunlight Carries. Next, I completed this piece, and I love how it turned out. It's definitely the largest piece that I've ever made, I think. And so I'm really happy with that, and I really love the light and the warmth and the color. It's definitely a little bit brighter than what I normally choose for my color palettes, but I just really love it. It's very warm. Well, you know how in New England, especially like Cape Cod and Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket and the Hamptons, they have the hydrangeas that are kind of like famous for that area in the summertime. And so I just wanted to include those as well as the coast and the beach and then a sunset. I just wanted it to feel like the end of a perfect summer beach day where you're leaving the day feeling so cozy and kind of like filled with the joy of the summer day and all the memories that you created, and your like skin is still warm from the sun, and maybe you have a slight hint of a sunburn, but you don't really mind because you just had the very most fulfilling and fun day. That's kind of what I was thinking about when I was creating this painting. And sometimes whenever I look at a sunset at the beach, especially after like a really long, fun-filled day, it just kind of is the cherry on top of the day. It just kind of makes it seem like the encore presentation of a really great show, or the beauty of that sunset is sort of reflecting the joy that you experience throughout the day. So that is what I wanted to create with this, and so I titled this Even Now, because even being the evening, your memories you can hold on to even now. And also I wanted it to be like you feel like your skin is still warm from the sunlight that you had on that memory even now, like it's still carried. So I hope I explained that well, but that was the inspiration behind this one. Next, I painted the two little lobsters. I really wanted to paint lobsters. I think that they're sort of just like a little whimsical piece of art for a summer collection, and I recently learned that blue lobsters actually do exist, and so I thought it would be cute to paint a red one and a blue one. And then I really wanted to create a little sort of warmth with them by adding this fabric mat. And I was choosing between a few different color schemes. I had some blue stripes and red stripes and some little other designs, but I ended up going with something that would fit for both of them and did the neutral stripes. And I really love how they turned out. So those were really fun to paint, and I just really enjoyed the process of painting them with a watercolor. And of course, if you're a fan of Friends, you'll understand how I named them, but I named them Ross and Rachel. And then lastly, I painted this watercolor illustration. I saw a photo of a building like this in, I think it was Cape Cod, and I just loved it. I thought it was so beautiful and so whimsical, and I loved the cedar shake on the side. But really what drew me to it was, of course, the line of hydrangea bushes. I just really loved that, and it felt like very whimsical and also like inspirational for how I would love for my hydrangea bushes to be looking so full and lush. And so I thought that was really sweet. And plus I loved the American flag. I thought that tied into the lobsters really nicely and the stripes. And so I've also been really liking stripes recently, so I thought that would be really cute to tie that in. What I really enjoyed painting though the most was the roses. That was actually my favorite part to paint. So, but I really love the illustrative kind of style that it turned out to be, and I think it kind of just ties everything together really nicely. I think I titled this one Summer at the Cape, something like that. Kind of simple, just because it was a building in Cape Cod. So nothing too crazy or inspirational with that one. So those are the 5 paintings all complete, and that was my full collection. Like I said, I expect that I'll paint some more kind of sea life-y inspired pieces throughout the year, perhaps for next summer, but I'm really pleased with how they turned out. And I'd love to know in the comments which one is your favorite, what you think of the whole collection, and if any of them sparked any fun summer memories for you. Thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye guys!
I think that I'm going to hiding somewhere by a gated